know your secret about European Portuguese. I've been teaching Portuguese for 10 years, and I know what your secret is. It's not just your secret, it's most people's secret. People that are learning a language, people that are learning Portuguese, and they have the secret that maybe they are not aware, maybe you're not aware, but yes, you have a secret. And I'm going to reveal this secret today, right here, right now in this video. Olá, I'm Sara, I'm Portuguese. I'm a Portuguese teacher, and I'm here to help you enter the Portuguese world. And what's that secret? The secret is you don't want to learn European Portuguese. You don't. You don't want to learn Portuguese. You don't. Do you think I'm wrong? Just a minute, and I will prove you that probably that's really your secret. You don't want to learn Portuguese because you don't want to spend years and years, maybe not years, but months. You don't want to spend money. You don't want to spend energy learning something that will give you so much confusion, frustration, shame. You'll feel overwhelmed. You don't want this, right? But that's what's going to happen if you start learning Portuguese, right? If you have been studying Portuguese for some time, what was your experience? You know, because when you learn European Portuguese or other language, you start learning things and then you realize that you're always forgetting things, and then you learn something, but in real life you notice that that's not the case. You learn something in your classroom, but then when in real life, in the real world, the Portuguese says that same sentence or a very similar one, it just sounds different. It sounds different from your textbook. It sounds different from your teacher. It sounds that the Portuguese don't pronounce the sounds that they are supposed to pronounce. And then you you realize that you can't speak because you are afraid of making mistakes. You are afraid of being judged. And then you don't understand the difference between two very similar words. And you spend so much time trying to understand the logic of the language. You spend so much time trying to understand grammar, memorizing vocabulary. And then you realize that the thing that you thought that you knew, now you don't know because you forgot. You are afraid of making mistakes because you think people will think that you are stupid, you are dumb, that you don't have talent to learn a language. People will think that you suck, that you are weird. You think that they may think, oh, what is she doing? What is he doing? It sounds weird. It sounds strange. And you don't want that, right? Right? And you feel frustrated because you have been learning, but you still can't have a conversation maybe with your crush, maybe with your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You have friends and Portuguese friends, and when you are in a cafe or a restaurant, they all want to share their opinions, their experiences, and you want to do the same, but you don't have the words. You don't know how to speak. You are afraid to forget what you're about to say. You know that you learn, but you think you're going to forget. You are afraid of making mistakes and being laughed at. But you're also afraid of not getting along with people. You're afraid that you won't be able to make real friends and have a life in Portuguese. You don't want to feel all alone when you are in the Portuguese community, right? And that hurts. You feel alone. You feel that you don't belong. You feel that you can't be yourself. And it's so tiring for you, your friends, your family. So tiring because you need to say, oh, can you speak slowly? Can you repeat? Can you say that in English? It is very tiring to do that all the time. And you feel that you're not really part of that friend group or part of the family. And it's very frustrating when you have this feeling. Besides, you may feel that when you have friends or a partner, love partner, you feel that you don't really know that person because you just know the English part of that person. Because if you are dating a Portuguese person, their entire life was in Portuguese. So it's a whole new thing for you. And that can be quite frustrating, even though they say, oh, it's okay. We can speak in English. We understand. We can understand and be understood in English. It's okay. But deep down, you know that is not actually the case. You feel that when you have the courage to say something in Portuguese, your partner's eyes, your friend's eyes light up because Portuguese is their language of their heart language. And you feel very good when he or she is speaking your language, speaking English with you, right? And they are always adapting to you. They always do this effort because you can't have a conversation in Portuguese. So you feel that they are always making this effort, more effort than the one that you are doing. And that's the feeling is not nice at all, right? It's not nice at all. And you also feel very overwhelmed because there's so many things to learn. And even though you are in the beginner level, or even though you are in the beginner level or intermediate level, in real life, there's no levels. It's everything at the same time. And so although you are very good, let's say you're very good in your class, you have good grades, you are learning, when you talk with your teacher, everything sounds perfectly, everything sounds fine, you are speaking correctly. When it comes to real life, to your friends, your partner, it's different. You can't actually have the conversation that you want to have because in real life, easy things, easy vocabulary, easy grammar, but also difficult words, difficult vocabulary, difficult grammar, everything is together. And you don't want this feeling. You don't want this part of the process when you are learning European Portuguese, right? What else you don't want in this process of learning European Portuguese? You don't want the confusion. You don't want the frustration. You don't want shame. You don't want to be afraid of making mistakes and being laughed at. You don't want to spend a lot of money with books or courses or teachers and feeling that like in the end you're getting nowhere. You don't want this, right? Because if there was a magic pill or technology and AI, anything that could make you just know the language, would you take it? In Portuguese, we have an expression, abrir a cabeça e pôr as coisas lá dentro. Open the hat and put things inside. Wouldn't it be better if you could just know Portuguese like this and you would understand and be understood every single time, and you will be able to have meaningful conversations with your family, with your coworkers, with your crush, and you will be able to easily have a deep relationship and build these relationships in Portuguese. You will be able to live a life in Portuguese with the Portuguese. That's why I said that I know your secret. You don't want to learn European Portuguese. You want to know and speak European Portuguese or Portuguese in general. You don't want to process. You don't want the process. You want the result. Most people, I'm 99% sure that most people really don't want the process. They don't, and they don't enjoy the process at all for the reasons that I just said. Just a very few people enjoy the process and then think, oh, let's say I'm going to learn Thai just because I have anything to do. I think Thai sounds good. Just because I want to. There's no need for the language, so no pressure. There are few people that enjoy grammar. They enjoy the logic, understanding the grammar rules, but most people don't. So you don't want the process, you want the result. You want to have a life in Portuguese with the Portuguese. You want to just use the language, right? But the sad truth is that there's no magic pill. There's no technology. There's no AI that will put the language inside of you. You need to do it by yourself. And no teacher can learn language for you. No matter how good the teacher is, you need to do your part. You are the student. You are the person who is interested in learning the language and be able to speak. So you have to do it, right? So what should we do? Because I'm not here to make you feel sad. Okay? I want you to feel hopeful. You need to know and acknowledge that we are human beings. So confusion, frustration, shame, all these negative and other negative feelings, they exist. And these negative feelings exist, and one way or another, we are going to feel them. It's impossible not to. We are not robots. We are humans. If it's not because you are learning a foreign language, it's going to be because something else. Okay? This is going to happen. So, first of all, accept that. There's a Brazilian sentence that I like very much, and it's aceite que dói menos. Aceite que dói menos. Accept because that hurts less. If you accept that this is the reality, it will hurt less. And those negative feelings, you don't need to feel them all the time. And you don't need to cry. You don't need to suffer deeply to learn Portuguese. You are going to feel them, but you don't need to die, almost die to be able to acquire the language. So if you learn Portuguese, European Portuguese, or another language the right way, you will have a level of confusion, shame, frustration, fear, whatever negative feeling. But if you're doing the right way, those levels are going to be low, not high. You don't need to feel that you are, if that is a matter of surviving or dying. Okay? And there are a couple of things that you can do to enjoy the process, because this is the point. If you don't want the process, you just want the result, that is, be able to speak and know the language, but you can't avoid the process, then you need to make the process enjoyable. Most enjoyable possible and simple. So you make sure that you don't feel overwhelmed and you are consistent. You do even if it's just 15 minutes, a little bit every day. You won't feel overwhelmed, and 1% every day, and in the end of 1 year is going to be 365% better. Yes. If I think in Portuguese, I can remember. 365 dias. 365. That this was funny. Percent better. Everything, every day, a little bit. That's how is the main way you make learning Portuguese less overwhelming. And how can you make the process enjoyable? One of the things is learning what you want to learn and what you need. This means that you don't need to learn every single thing that you see in a textbook. That's why it's very important for you to have clear goals, short-term, long-term goals. Because if you are learning Portuguese because you want to pass an exam, like SIPL, the A2 exam, the exam that people need if they want to apply for the nationality. I've been helping a lot of students to take that exam. If that's so, you need to practice and study in a certain way. But if your goal is to know the language, to use it in your daily life, then the approach needs to be different. And basically, you can ignore anything that you think that you're not going to need, because you get fluent faster by learning the things that you're going to need the most first. So, for example, you don't need to know that engineer in Portuguese is engenheiro. If you're not engineer, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever is not engineer, your parents are not, you don't want to be, your life doesn't have anything to do with being engineer, so you don't need to know the word, right? At least it's not a priority. You know what I mean? But let's say that you are an actress and you are a girl. You need to know that actor is a little bit different, because a male is actor, but actress is atriz. I know in English we have actress, but a lot of women that have this job, this profession, they say, I'm an actor, right? I've seen a lot of actresses saying, I am an actor, which was supposed to be the masculine word. But in Portuguese, it doesn't exist. This doesn't happen. It's just actor for a male and actress, atriz for a female, right? Sometimes the word for the male and female change, which is the case here. So this specific word, if you are atriz, you need to know that that atriz is actress. So this is how specific you need to be. It doesn't mean, for example, list with colors. Do you need colors now? Do you paint and you need to go to a store and buy some ink or other things? Do you work with clothes? There are different jobs that work with clothes. Do you need to know the colors? If you don't need, why are you learning this in the beginner level? Because someone said, colors should be learned in the beginner level. Do you need to learn the colors? What do you need to say? What do you need to talk about? Those are the things that you need to learn first. And how are you going to learn those things? There are very different ways to learn, right? There are very different styles. And you can find your way to learn. Some people think they are very visual, they need to see. Okay, so do something that you like to do. Do something that you like to do, and do it a little bit in Portuguese. Do you like food? Do you like, for example, MasterChef? Those kind of TV shows about cooking? You can watch something like that to learn Portuguese. And if you are in the basic level and you would like to watch something like that in Portuguese, if you watch a TV show, it's going to be too much. It's going to be overwhelmed, especially if you want to try to understand everything. But if you are in a basic level, it's not realistic to be able to understand everything, right? So if you still want to watch something like that, try just to understand one or other thing. A very good example is music. You just listen because you enjoy the melody. I listen to Chinese music for example, there's the Eurovision Song Contest here in Europe. There are countries which music is in their native language. I can enjoy that song, although I don't understand what they're saying because of the melody, right? But while I'm listening to the song, I pay attention to what they're saying. Of course, I don't understand what they're saying, but I recognize the sounds. Oh, they are saying this and this. I can pay attention to the sounds. I don't know what they mean, but the sounds are there. So I know how that language sounds like. I know how Serbian sounds like. I know how German sounds like. I know how Norwegian, I don't know how to say, Norwegish, the language for Norway. I know how it sounds like. I didn't know, but I learned how the language sound because last year a song was amazing. Like folk and metal and rock, I love it. And the song was in Norwegian. You see, I'm having fun. I don't know exactly how to say in English, but I'm having fun. Why can't you do the same? You think they are going to think that you are silly? They will laugh at you? But what's the problem? Do you know Ace Ventura? Those movies? Jim Carrey. Do you think he's silly? He's so famous because he makes everyone laugh with the silly things. You can be silly and you can be considered like that person in the family that makes everyone laugh. But in a good way. You know what I mean? Of course, when they laugh, they need to laugh with you, not making fun of you. When we are learning a language, sometimes we think that when the communication is not successful, the fault is always ours. It's my fault that we couldn't communicate because my language level wasn't good enough. But you need to remember that communication is like this, is a road with two sides. If you want to communicate, you need to put some effort. And if the other person wants to communicate, they need to put some effort too, right? So if the other person doesn't want to talk with you, is mean, is not respectful, don't think that it's your fault. Don't blame your Portuguese. The person should be extremely happy and amazed because you are learning Portuguese. Sorry, I got so excited because I really am. I believe that not just me, but the Portuguese get very excited and like, why are you learning Portuguese? We are a small country. Why are you learning Portuguese from Portugal? We are the ones and this is in all our culture. We are used to adapt and be flexible to others. Even with our neighbors in Spain, They don't speak Portuguese. We are not used to them to try to speak Portuguese with us. This is not what happens. If we want to communicate with Spanish, or we can speak in English if they also speak English. A lot of them don't speak English. And we try to mix the language. We try to speak Spanish. And especially if you are American, especially if you are a native English speaker. We don't expect you to learn Portuguese. Not at all. We are not used to it. We can't even imagine, most of us, we can't even imagine an Irish person learning Portuguese. I have a student from Ireland. And I have students from the US. It's very difficult for Portuguese to speak Portuguese with a foreigner that is learning Portuguese, because we can conceive the idea that you are adapting to us. You are spending money, time, energy, all of this to communicate with us in our native language, the language of our heart language. And that's beautiful. That's amazing. So I feel this way, and I want to believe that most Portuguese also think this way. If they are always correcting you, probably it's just because they want to help, right? And most people don't know exactly how to help, so maybe they do think that don't help that much. But I believe that most Portuguese, when they see someone learning Portuguese, I think they want to help. I could say 1,000,000 things more about this topic, and I could give you a lot more advice, but I will leave that to other videos. Let me know if that's a good idea, if you like to hear more about it and how you can make the process of learning Portuguese more enjoyable. And if you struggle with having a conversation with Portuguese because when they reply back to you, you just don't understand what they're saying, because it sounds like if Portuguese sounds strange to you in a way that you think, oh, I learned this, but they are saying something, this is different from what I've learned. If you're struggling with this, I prepared a free class to help with this, about the sounds that we were supposed to pronounce, but in real life, in the real world, the Portuguese don't pronounce. You can check the link down below. So depending on when you are going to watch this video, I also have a link for my Understand the Portuguese course. It's a complete course about how you can finally understand Portuguese. Is well structured in terms of not only the sounds, all the sounds that we, the Portuguese, swallow, why we swallow, when we swallow, which sounds do we swallow, do we eat, and you will also be able to learn listening techniques to train your ear to the real life European Portuguese. So you can check down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!